The company is about to go public, but my boyfriend always messes around with his childhood friend Jessica, no matter the occasion. I'm just reminding them to be mindful of the situation. The next day, a friend sent me a screenshot from a secret website's live stream. I couldn't believe it. I put down my work to find Andrew, only to hear him chatting animatedly with friends outside his office. You all had so much fun yesterday. I didn't want to miss a moment. Andrew, you really understand us best and are always willing to try new things. That's right, especially when Emily calls out that name when she's in a particularly good mood. It makes me feel it's quite interesting. By the way, Andrew, you're always so direct. Aren't you afraid Emily will notice? While playing on his phone, Andrew laughed and said, "What does it matter? She can't live without me and can only choose to marry me. What else can she throw a fit about? By the way, if you're picking out clothes, you should check out Jessica's store. Her business hasn't been doing well lately. I haven't seen her happy in days." Everyone on the side was egging them on, laughing unceremoniously. Suddenly someone asked Andrew, "Emily treats you well. Why are you suddenly like this towards her?" Andrew suddenly put away his smile, stood up straight, and spoke with disgust. "I can't stand her arrogant attitude. Just because she helped me a few times, she insists that I should be grateful. Doesn't she understand that girls should be more low-key? If she doesn't understand this principle, then I'll teach her a lesson." Hearing this, I felt a chill in my heart. Looking down at my phone, I found he had just sent a message, "Dear Emily, I've been so busy with work, I'm really tired. I wish you could always be with me." Andrew, isn't this a bit too much for her? His friend said jokingly, but with a malicious glint in his eyes. She's at least a graduate of a 985 university. Setting the price at 8 yuan to watch the whole live stream is just too degrading, right? Now, 8 yuan can't even buy a cup of milk tea. Andrew put down his phone and said disdainfully, "I want you all to know that in my eyes, this highly educated girl is not worth anything. So what if she has a high education and a good family background? Even the proudest people can stumble sometimes, and I am the one who will bring her down." He wore an unmistakable smug smile on his face, and there was a calculating glint in his eyes. I stood outside the door, struggling to hold back my emotions, biting my lower lip until it bled, tasting the metallic flavor of blood in my mouth. After seeing the messages and questions sent by my friend just now, I still held some hope for him. I thought we might have been set up, and he might not even be aware of it. On the way here, I thought of many ways to respond, but when I heard his conversation with a friend with my own ears, I could no longer deceive myself. The unacceptable livestream screenshots were not from anyone else but my boyfriend Andrew, who had been with me for 3 years. I remember when we first met, Andrew was just a poor waiter who often got bullied. I worked really hard to win him over. At first, he didn't dare to kiss me hard, always afraid of hurting me. Later, he gradually let go and would blush while asking me to wear some special outfits for him. I thought this was a way for couples to have fun together, and after hesitating, I agreed. Now I realize he did this just to host paid live streams, turning me into a laughingstock for everyone. Their laughter pierced my heart like a knife. I couldn't stop the tears from falling. They slid down my cheeks, each drop landing on the cold back of my hand, yet felt burning hot. At that moment, a few people in the office suddenly started talking about Jessica. "Andrew, what will happen to Jessica if you marry Emily? She has been following you all these years. Haven't you ever liked her?" Upon hearing Jessica's name, Andrew's smile faded. He sighed softly and said, "Jessica has had a tough time these years. I will give her whatever she wants. When Emily comes to ask me to marry her and we get the marriage certificate, I will definitely give Jessica a grand wedding. By then, even if Emily is unwilling in her heart, she won't be able to do anything about it. Besides, Jessica has never asked for a title, and I can't keep shortchanging her." Suddenly, I remembered what he whispered to me last night. He said, "Emily, marry me. I really want to bring you home as my bride soon." Last night, he seriously talked to me about marriage, trying to stay calm. "You said you would grandly marry me." But just a day later, the bride by his side changed. "Andrew, were all your promises to me a lie?" I feel like something is gripping my heart, making it hard to breathe. I didn't dare to push the door open and ask them, afraid of seeing their piercing gazes. In the end, I rushed out of the company as if I were escaping. I ran home in a daze, still unsettled, and while waiting for a reply, Andrew messaged me again. "Emily, I heard you just ran out of the company. Are you feeling unwell?" Emily replied to me, "You're really making me anxious." The gentle words from before now sound particularly painful. If I hadn't heard what they said, I might have really thought he was worried about me. But now, I can almost see him messaging me while laughing at me with someone else. Just thinking about this makes my heart tighten with pain. Tears fell on my phone. I couldn't see the screen clearly, my hands shaking as I exited the chat with him and messaged my mom, admitting defeat, that I agreed to go back and get married. Andrew doesn't know that I ran from New York to this small city to refuse the marriage arranged by my family. I always thought that even if I left home, I could still get what I wanted on my own. After being with him, I took all my savings to support his entrepreneurship so that he would have the confidence to stand up to my family. Later, I not only helped him look for investors regardless of my pride, but I also drank with clients until I bled from my stomach in order to close a deal, and ended up in the hospital for emergency treatment. For the past 3 years, I have been working tirelessly for the company day and night. I thought that on the day the company went public, I could take him to meet my parents and he could stand proudly in front of them. But I never expected that to him. My efforts were not only worthless but also made him feel embarrassed. My mom was momentarily stunned after I finished speaking, then she happily said, "As long as you understand, Mom can rest assured. Child, you need to know that your parents only want what's best for you." I said, "Okay. I'll go back as soon as I finish my work here. You can handle the wedding arrangements as you see fit." After discussing the main issues, I hung up the phone and collapsed on the sofa, my mind completely blank. At that moment, I heard the sound of the door opening. I stared blankly as Andrew walked in carrying a small bag of clothes. He didn't notice my strange expression, shook the bag in his hand, and said excitedly, "Emily, I passed by a lingerie store on my way back and thought this outfit would suit you perfectly. Do you want to try it on now?" The bag he was holding had the words "happy face" written on it, and I was momentarily taken aback when I saw it clearly. All my clothes were brought back by Andrew. He always says they suit me and encourages me to try them on. I always believed him and never doubted it. Yet, I overlooked the fact that if it were really a coincidence, why did the logo on the shopping bags look exactly the same every time? I pressed my lips together and remained silent. Andrew didn't wait for my response. His smile faded and his gaze turned a bit heavier. I could tell he was unhappy. Just as I was about to say I didn't want to wear it, he irritably asked, "What's wrong with you today?" Not replying to messages, ignoring me when talking, "Can you at least acknowledge me? Don't leave me here talking to myself." "Emily, sometimes I really wish you could learn a thing or two from Jessica about what kind of woman is considered proper." In his eyes, a good woman is someone who runs those strange lingerie stores, speaks without restraint, and has to pretend to be shy. Looking at this Andrew, both familiar and unfamiliar, I felt like my heart was hit hard, making it hard to breathe. Before I could say anything, Andrew threw the shopping bag onto the sofa with a stern face and coldly said, "I'm going to take a shower first. Hope by the time I come out, you'll have changed your clothes, Emily. Don't let me down." After saying that, he didn't even glance at me and took off his suit jacket before heading straight to the bathroom. Unexpectedly, just after he left, the phone on the coffee table suddenly lit up. The screen clearly displayed Jessica's name. In the past, I never checked his phone, giving him enough trust. Even when he voluntarily showed me his phone, I never doubted him. But this time, inexplicably, I opened his phone. As the phone lit up, his chat history with Jessica immediately popped up. "Andrew, you need to let Emily try on the new styles from my store. I can't list the new products without her fitting pictures." Seeing this message, I instinctively tightened my grip on the phone. What does she mean by that? Try on what? What new products? I was suddenly stunned, my blood rushed up, and my heart was beating so fast it felt like it was going to burst out. My hands were shaking as I searched for Jessica's store name on several websites. Soon, I found a photo of myself posing in her clothes on one of the platform shops. All around me were familiar faces, familiar figures, and familiar styles. I stood there, unable to believe it as I flipped through these photos one by one. As soon as I opened the product page, I saw a bunch of unpleasant comments below. "Is this person an employee at your store? Can I ask her how much she charges? I just saw a particularly beautiful jade rabbit. I've never seen one so white. If I could buy it as a gift, that would be great. I definitely want them all. The owner is really nice. I would love to meet this girl. Spending money is not an issue. Can you give it to me for free? Let me take a look." Under every comment, Jessica replied with the same content, private message, and added a blushing emoji. I continued to scroll down, feeling more and more uncomfortable, as if I had fallen into an abyss. I couldn't help but wonder if Andrew knew about these things Jessica was doing. I nervously took out my phone, capturing all the photos and messages to save them. Just as I finished, Jessica sent another message. Andrew, remember to let Emily drink what I prepared. If today's live stream goes well, your company will secure the investment and you won't need Emily anymore. You can let her leave the company openly. Andrew, for our future, you mustn't go easy on her. What does that mean? Before I could think much more, Andrew had finished his shower and come out. Usually, after a shower, he doesn't like to wear formal clothes and prefers to wander around the house wrapped in a loose bath towel. But today he was dressed neatly. If it weren't for his short hair still dripping wet, you wouldn't even know he had just showered. Noticing I hadn't changed into the clothes he mentioned, his expression grew more impatient. Suddenly, he seemed to think of something, his expression softened, and he turned to the kitchen to pour me a glass of water. He said softly, Emily, if you don't like this outfit, don't wear it. I won't force you. Your complexion looks poor. I'm quite worried. Drink some hot water to help yourself relax. For some reason, I felt something was off. His gaze sent a chill down my spine, so I shook my head and refused without a second thought. Unexpectedly, Andrew's expression suddenly darkened. He walked over, pinched my chin, and forced me to drink that cup of water. My face turned pale instantly, my heart raced with fear, and I could barely catch my breath. Andrew, what exactly do you want? I tried desperately to spit it out, but he held my mouth shut tightly. Seeing the fear in my eyes, Andrew's expression softened a bit, but he still didn't let go, whispering in my ear, Emily, today will be over soon. After today, we'll go register for marriage tomorrow. What? What does he mean by that? I was stunned, desperately trying to break free, but he held on tightly. At that moment, I suddenly felt a wave of heat wash over me, and my mind became increasingly unclear. Noticing that my complexion was off, Andrew slowly let go. He stepped back, and my legs went weak, causing me to sit down on the ground. I clenched my teeth tightly, my face flushed with heat, and gasped, asking him, what did you make me drink? Before he could answer, the doorbell suddenly rang. Andrew glanced at me and quickly went to open the door. As soon as the door opened, Jessica burst in excitedly with a camera. Behind her were several tall men wearing masks. Although their faces were covered, I recognized them at a glance as Andrew's closest buddies. I was unclear about their intentions, feeling both anxious and scared, so I bit my lip to feign calmness and took steps back. Seeing my reaction, Jessica sneered, Emily, stop hiding, everyone can see you. It's useless no matter how you try to hide. Andrew stood coldly beside her with his hands in his pockets. She couldn't resist now. Be quiet. Don't wake the neighbors. His gaze no longer held the tenderness it once had for me, replaced only by strangeness and indifference. It was as if the person I once knew was not the real him at all. But the one who once begged me for help after getting beaten up and deep in debt was clearly him. My breathing quickened, my eyes filled with anger, and my voice came out almost through gritted teeth. Andrew, you've gone too far. I suddenly spoke out in anger. The way those men looked at me was increasingly malicious, like knives laced with poison, slowly tormenting me. Emily, that's not right. What's wrong with Andrew? He's our god. Thanks to him, we've discovered that you seem cold on the outside but are actually quite interesting. Don't worry, Emily. We just wanted to play a joke on you. As I watched them come closer, my fear intensified. I pinched my palm hard to stay alert. Don't come any closer. This is illegal. I used the last of my strength to stand up and retreated step by step. So what? It's worth the price to pay for a beauty. One person shouted excitedly, and the others charged at me like hungry wolves. In this critical moment, I noticed the balcony window was open. I fearfully dodged the man lunging at me and ran with all my might towards the balcony. As the ground came into view with people coming and going below, a wave of sadness suddenly washed over me. When I stood on the balcony and prepared to jump, tears streamed down like pearls from a broken string. Mom and Dad, if I can survive, I promise to listen to you from now on and won't run around anymore. With my eyes closed, my heart was filled with despair, and memories of the past 20 years flashed before me like a movie. But at that moment, I seemed to hear Andrew's heart-wrenching shout, Emily, don't do this. I suddenly opened my eyes and collided with his terrified, pitch-black gaze. Andrew, I didn't expect you to be scared too. When I fell, I was completely dazed. When I woke up again, I was already lying in a hospital. The pain in my body came in waves, reminding me of what had happened before. I stared at the unfamiliar ceiling, my eyes slowly turned red, and I choked back a few sobs. I asked the nurse next to me who was changing my bandages to help me get my phone. When she handed me the phone, I took it with my uninjured left hand and quickly called my mom, completely unaware of the flicker of annoyance in her eyes. I said with a choked voice, "Mom, can you come pick me up? I don't want to stay here any longer." Mom didn't answer immediately. She was silent for a long time, and finally, with a choked voice, she said, "Emily, I'll come to pick you up today. I'm sorry for letting you suffer outside." She tried hard to hold back her tears. Her voice was intermittent. Hearing this, I understood that she already knew about the bad things. "Emily, don't worry, Mom will make sure those who bullied you are punished. I won't let them off easily." I replied okay, hung up the phone, and just then heard the nurse quietly say, having done something shameful, she still has the face to complain to her family. If it were me, I would have no face to live on. I pretended not to hear what she said and lowered my head to scroll through my phone. Suddenly, I discovered that someone had deliberately uploaded my live video online. In the video, Andrew's face was covered, but my face was clearly visible. I couldn't stay in the hospital any longer. I didn't want to hear those hurtful words, so I put on my hospital gown and, enduring the pain, escaped. Fortunately, I had been staying on the second floor, and only my right leg was severely injured. The other areas were just scraped. On the other side, Andrew returned to the hospital with my examination report and, seeing the empty bed, his expression instantly darkened. Jessica originally wanted to come over and make fun of me, but when she saw his bad expression, she was too scared to say anything. After a while, a doctor in a white coat hurried over, panting, and said, "Andrew, you have the wrong test report. This one is Emily's. Her right leg has a comminuted fracture, and she also had a miscarriage." After being picked up by her mother, she kept worrying about me and insisted on bringing me to the hospital for another checkup. While I was being examined, she stood beside me, secretly crying, her eyes filled with pain and guilt. I'm the only child in the family. My parents have never hit me, no matter how angry they were. Everyone around knows I'm the apple of the Smith couple's eye, and no one dares to bully me. But now, I've actually been bullied to the point where I almost lost half my life. After the examination, the doctor looked at my pale face, frowned, and said seriously, "Don't you know that recovery after a miscarriage is very important for women? Why didn't you listen to the doctor's advice and rest properly?" A miscarriage? My voice was hoarse, and my breathing was heavy. I was completely stunned and couldn't accept what he said for a moment. "We used protection every time. How could I be pregnant?" I want to laugh, but I can't, and I dryly say, "Doctor, could there be a mistake? How could I possibly be pregnant?" The test results clearly state it, and the doctor replies, "You had a miscarriage. You need to ask your husband for the details." Thinking of that familiar face, I felt a wave of disgust. My mom looked upset, thanked the doctor, and took me home. I followed her in a daze, not noticing the sadness in her eyes. Once home, she gently comforted me, telling me to take a nap and that everything would be fine when I woke up. I washed up as she said and lay back down, falling asleep. When I woke up, I found a tall figure sitting by the bed. My heart tightened as the events of that day flashed before my eyes. I fearfully shrank back into the blanket, not daring to look up at him. Seeing my reaction, Michael looked at me with concern and sadness, softly saying, "Emily, don't be afraid. I won't hurt you." Michael is the older brother of my good friend. He is 8 years older than us. To me, he feels like the big brother next door. Hearing his familiar voice, I forced a smile and called out, "Brother Michael, I'm not afraid of you. Actually, I'm extremely scared inside. My voice is trembling." Michael didn't push me anymore. He just bent down to tuck in the corners of my blanket and softly said, "I bought the butterfly pastries you like. Would you like to try one?" He handed me the butterfly pastries he had prepared in advance. I saw the expectation in his eyes and couldn't bring myself to refuse, so I accepted them and thanked him softly. Seeing that I had calmed down, a slight smile appeared on his face. At that moment, my mom pushed the door open, and upon seeing the scene, a smile appeared on her tired face as she said, "Michael, can you step outside for a moment? I need to talk to you." Michael nodded, gently brushed my hair, then turned and went out with her. I always felt like they were talking about me, but I didn't know why. I put down what I was holding, put on my shoes, and walked to the door. As soon as I reached the door, I heard them talking. "Michael, you are now aware of Emily's situation. If you want to cancel the engagement, we can understand. Auntie, I have no regrets. This was not Emily's intention, she was deceived, and the fault is not hers. Michael's tone was resolute and sincere. But I feel that Emily is very disappointed in love right now. When she saw me earlier, her eyes were filled with fear. There's no rush for marriage. I want to wait until she fully accepts me. A marriage without love won't be happy. He not only has to marry Emily but also win her heart. Mom listened to him and nodded with emotion, saying, "Thank you. Thank you for always being there for Emily." I hid behind the door, tears blurring my vision, too afraid to let them hear me, desperately holding back the sobs that were about to escape. If it were the past, I would still be the happy little princess of the Smith family, and I would never feel unworthy of him. But now, I am no longer pure. Someone like me doesn't deserve his sincere treatment. I crawled back to bed, putting this matter aside as if I had never heard of it. Since then, Michael has only come home to talk to me after work, never mentioning the video he saw online, as if those things didn't exist at all. My good friend Sophia has returned from abroad. She knew I was home and came straight to my house without even dropping off her suitcase. As soon as she entered, she angrily said, "This is too much. How could that guy be like this? Not only does the live stream ruin your reputation, but he also wants you to get pregnant first and pay to marry him. Where does he get his confidence? He should take a look at himself." "What do you mean by that?" Sophia found out that I was indeed unaware and quickly looked for the live stream clip someone sent her. My hands trembled as I clicked on the video. The footage clearly showed that after I fell asleep from exhaustion, Andrew took out a broken condom and smugly said, "She thinks I always use protection, but this thing has been broken for a long time, and I never told her." Brothers, remember, once a woman is pregnant, she is no longer precious. When she really gets pregnant with my child, not only will I not need to pay a bride price, but she will also have to beg me to marry her, even offering money. You can do the same in the future and save a lot on the bride price. After watching this video, I suddenly laughed. As I laughed, tears unexpectedly streamed down my face. I supported Andrew from nothing. When he was poor, I never expected him to give me anything in the future. Later, when he became wealthy, I still had no intention of taking anything from him. All my expenses were covered by my own money. I thought I had truly treated him well, and he should understand that. So when he proposed to me, I casually said that my parents don't care about the other party's family background, but they care about sincerity. I don't want gold, a house, or a car. I just want $300,000 as a bride price. Is that okay? I helped him negotiate a collaboration, and in the end, he made at least $1 million from it. Normally, he spends over $100,000 just to give Jessica a gift. I feel that this $300,000 is really nothing to him. To my surprise, he wasn't willing to give me even this amount and thought I wasn't worth $300,000. Don't cry, babe. Seeing you cry makes me want to cry too. If my brother sees this, he will definitely say something to me again. She quickly shut her mouth and playfully stuck out her tongue. I didn't say anything, and you didn't hear anything. They all know that I am going to marry Michael. Michael told them not to mention the marriage alliance until I completely let go of this matter. Of course, I won't bring it up either. I'll just pretend I didn't hear it. I'm at home recovering, and Michael and Sophia take turns coming to chat with me, so life is quite comfortable. But things aren't going well on Andrew's side. When he found out about my pregnancy and miscarriage, he was so angry that he threw everything in the hospital room. Later, he kept asking around for news about me and constantly called me. But each time, all he heard was the sound of the phone being off. His friend casually suggested that if he was really anxious to find her, he might as well scare her a bit. Don't we have those videos on hand? She definitely wouldn't want those videos to remain. Andrew thought this made sense, so he occasionally posted my videos online, trying to force me out. But before I could respond, he was arrested by the police at his door. Not just him, Jessica and his group of friends were the same. After learning that Jessica was arrested, I anonymously submitted the screenshots I had saved to the police, reporting her for conducting illegal transactions privately. Andrew spent a lot of money to settle the matter and was released. But when he tried to pay to bail Jessica out, he found out she had already been sentenced to 5 years for being reported for distributing photos and videos that infringed on others' rights and forcing others into illegal transactions. Andrew realized that he and Jessica could never go back to the way things were and began searching for me day and night. On the day Andrew was arrested, someone from Michael's side filmed a video and posted it online, completely ruining the company's chances of going public. Knowing he was out of prison, Michael immediately teamed up with other companies to deal with him, not giving him a chance to catch his breath. When I'm not around, he can't handle the company's crisis on his own. The executives are uncertain, and the employees are voicing their discontent, resigning one after another. Before long, Andrew became completely exhausted, looking like he aged 10 years overnight, losing the confidence he once had. Seeing him in a pitiful state, humbly begging for investments, brought me an indescribable sense of satisfaction. A smile gradually appeared on my face, and my parents stopped being so cautious, joking with me like they used to. The lively atmosphere returned to our home. If it weren't for Andrew's sudden appearance, I would have continued like this, forgetting the past and enjoying the days ahead. "What are you doing here?" I looked at Andrew with disdain, feeling that even just looking at him made the air around us feel unclean. When Andrew saw me, his eyes sparkled with joy. He nervously adjusted his wrinkled suit jacket from the crowded bus and awkwardly smiled, saying, "Emily, I came to take you home. Did you forget? We're getting married soon. While you were away, I picked out the wedding dress and rings for you, just waiting for you to come back to hold the wedding." Hearing him say that makes me feel utterly nauseous. I've never seen someone so shameless. "Andrew, don't you find what you're saying ridiculous? Do you really not understand why I left you?" Andrew's face showed a hint of panic, and he hurriedly said, "Emily, I know I was wrong. I've changed now and have paid the price for my past mistakes. Can you give me another chance? You want another chance to humiliate me live in front of everyone, right?" "That's not it, Emily. That day was really just a misunderstanding. I just wanted to scare you. It was for the sake of the show. I didn't really want them to treat you that way. I even warned them not to touch you. See, in the end, you were fine, weren't you?" He spoke so confidently, yet I was shaking with anger. The reason I wasn't caught that day was that I decisively jumped out the window to escape. Thinking back now, I feel scared. If I hadn't mustered the courage to jump from the balcony, I don't know what would have happened. "Andrew, you have disappointed me so much." I clearly showed a look of disdain, which made him feel very uncomfortable. Andrew's eyes turned red all of a sudden, and with a pleading expression, he said, "Emily, I really know I was wrong. I considered it from your perspective and felt like I was too inadequate. Give me one more chance to make it up to you, okay?" Just as I was about to speak, I heard Michael's voice behind me. He had a cold expression, a slight smirk at the corner of his mouth, and said softly, "Only by experiencing the pain of others can one truly understand their feelings. Emily, what do you think?" "Yes, that's right." I looked at Andrew as if he were something disgusting, sneering, "People like you, pretending to be sincere, are not worthy of anyone's forgiveness. You should spend your life hiding in dark corners, never seeing the light." "Andrew, if I could do it all over again, I would never help you again because you don't deserve it." After saying that, I couldn't be bothered to say anything more to him and had Michael follow me out. Andrew still wanted to say something, but Michael's bodyguard stopped him. As the days went by, my heart gradually calmed down, and I tried to forget the past and live anew. But unexpectedly, 3 months later, I heard news about Andrew again. Michael investigated Andrew's background and discovered that he was not originally named Andrew. His real name is John. When John escaped from his remote hometown back then, he also took money from the villagers. Michael deliberately let people reveal Andrew's current achievements to those villagers. Upon hearing this, those people hurried to the city to find Andrew. But Andrew's company went bankrupt. He had not a penny left, and even his house was taken by the bank and auctioned off. He truly couldn't come up with any money, which infuriated everyone. At that moment, someone suddenly suggested that they heard live streaming is very profitable, and he used to earn over $1 million a month from it, so why not give it a try? Upon hearing this, Andrew was so scared that he stepped back, trying to calm them down. But those people, desperate to get their money back, didn't care about anything else. They tied him up and locked him in an abandoned warehouse. After seeing the video that was posted online, I felt so disgusted that I vomited on the spot. Sophia, however, couldn't stop laughing, saying this was karma. He should have anticipated this day when he did bad things. "Emily, Did you see? Bad people always get what they deserve. You are so outstanding. Don't get stuck in the past. Look forward. You might meet someone who is more suitable for you. Seeing her rare serious expression as she put away her smile, I also took a close look at Michael, who was on the phone in the garden. He noticed me looking at him and turned around with a gentle smile. The sunlight illuminated him, giving him a golden aura, warm and bright. Why not give it a try? It might actually be quite good. I was the one who first mentioned the idea of a marriage alliance. I didn't force him, I just told him that if it bothered him, I wouldn't pressure him to marry me. We will still be friends in the future. Michael's eyes were red. Before I could finish, he excitedly hugged me like a young boy. His voice was choked yet firm. Emily, do you know how long I've waited for this sentence? I don't care about your past. I only want our future. Give me a chance to love you properly, okay? I thought it was time to start a new life, so I nodded. But unexpectedly, Andrew also showed up on the day of our engagement party. His once neatly cut hair was now messy, his clothes were torn and dirty, and he had an unpleasant smell. He looked at the engagement photo on the welcome board, grinning stupidly and repeatedly saying, "This is my wife, my wife." People passing by smelled the odor and disdainfully avoided him. Suddenly, someone shouted that the homeless man was too unsanitary and had dirted his pants. Someone should get him out. Hearing the commotion outside the venue, I turned my head and saw the security guard angrily reprimanding a bewildered Andrew with a stick. He seemed to be hurt, his eyes were red, but he gritted his teeth and said nothing. This reminded me of the first time we met, when a guest deliberately picked a fight and spilled hot tea on him. He was just like this, enduring the pain and staying silent. In the past, I would have stood up to help him, but now, I turned away pretending not to see. Maybe if I had been this indifferent from the start, the outcome would have been completely different. But who can say for sure?